Alright, so we're going to make some adjustments to the head of our character. So actually going to just make a couple adjustments that I'm seeing. So actually I'm going to probably go about redoing the eyeballs, and then also going to go into the mouth and expand that and clean up the ears a little bit, and then also add eyebrows and actually a ridge for his eyebrow to sit on. So to start off, I'll probably start in the inside the mouth and make that adjustment. So just make sure that we have the body selected, and I'm actually going to just duplicate this subtool and turn the other one off, just so this is the one that I'm going to start working on. Excuse me. So I'm just going to go in here and hide this guy. So I just want this yellow piece right here. So I'm actually going to just go in here, want to mask lasso, and so just make sure that I select that, and then just bring everything back. And so he's the only one that's selected right now. So actually I'm going to just move that back, and so we're just making sure. Actually going to move that up here, the gizmo, and just turn this more to the side, and we'll move this guy right here, and then I'm going to move that back, and then also going to scale in Z, scale, and actually not going to scale in Z, I'm actually going to just give that a little bit. And then also going to inflate. Don't want to inflate, not what I'm looking for. Yeah, that's not what I'm looking for. Okay, if I hold down Alt, it actually opens that up a little more. That's what I'm looking for. Just want to be able to open that mouth up a little bit. And then just turn dynamic back on just so I can see. It looks better. Alright, and then just going to clear that mask. And for here, I'm actually going to turn the eyeballs off, because I'm not going to probably use those ones. But for here, I'm probably going to make the head, going to make this one polygroup, so all this group right here. So to do so, I'm just going to go to my Z modeler and going to polygroup, a single poly. And so when you select this one, so place down this one and then hold down Shift, and then that should copy. So here, okay, so what I want to do here is actually go to polygroup border, or polygroup island, and so just turn these the same color. And that's kind of what I'm looking for there, just to make sure that that's all one polygroup. I'll probably leave the ears how they are right now. Actually, I'm going to just change those as well, just so they're all the same, all one polygroup. Alright, and then so from here, I'm actually going to, with this one, I'm actually going to go into geometry and Z remesher, and I'm going to say same and keep groups, and then just hit Shift and Z remesher. Alright. Let's turn on dynamic and just take a look at that. looks like it kind of shrunk it down quite a bit. Not really what I was looking for. So let's try and just do keep groups again, and actually I'm going to double the polygon count and then just hit Z remesher. Alright, a little better. Just adding those extra polys, which is fine. By the time I go back into this, actually just kind of softens that up, and so if I hit dynamic, it actually looks okay. And then so I'm gonna excuse me, I'm gonna go to the move, and just gonna close his mouth a little bit more. And that's my brush is too big, so I'm gonna go here. Just close that mouth a little bit, and smooth, and just light taps. Just bring his lip out a little bit, and then also, actually that brush is still a little too big. Just closing this shape up a little bit. Just light taps. There we go. His mouth looks a little better. And then from here, so the reason why I did the Z remesher, I just wanted to make sure that this, when I was trying to, if I try and make any adjustments, like if we look at the old one, so if we turn this guy on and turn this one off, you can see that how these polygroups, like if you try and make any adjustments, it's not really, it doesn't really conform super well. So now if you look at these ones, the polygroups are it's just basically all one, and then I can just make those adjustments to his head, how I kind of am looking for. So with that, I'm actually going to grab the clay buildup and gonna hit Alt and just make these, and I'm just gonna kind of push that in a little bit, push that in for his eye sockets, and this should, it makes it a little, yeah, it seems, actually I'm just going to smooth that out just a little bit, turn down the intensity on that, and then actually lightly, whoops, don't want the draw, so I'm going to take that out, don't want Z plug in, just going to collapse this, and I want to actually pull the ridge of his head. So I'll grab that move brush, and then I'm going to actually just kind of pull that out a little bit, just so we can get that ridge. Because that's where we're going to actually be putting his brows, and then when we set those eyeballs in, it'll be a little bit better. So with that clay buildup, again, just making light taps there, just to kind of push that in a little bit, just actually so we can see, and then we have that ridge for the brow, the brow ridge. Actually, I'm just going to push, so just want to make that move, so I'm just going to push this so we just get a little bit more on the profile. And here, just push that back a little bit. Alright. And then I'm just going to turn that polyframe off, just so I can see kind of what I'm doing here. And so here, I'll take that clay buildup and going to bring that down a little bit, and just kind of build this area, build his nostril up a little bit. And just light smooth. Let's build that nostril up. And then I'm going to go under here and hold down Alt and just kind of push that up. Just pushing that up and just hit that with smooth. And then also I'm going to take my move brush and then just kind of bring that down a little bit right here. Alright, kind of what I'm looking for there. And then for this one, I'm actually going to go into the detail brush and just going to make some slight tweaks to this nose just to kind of clean up that line a little bit. There we go. And then this one, I'm going to actually just want to add a little bit of depth, a little bit of volume right here. So with that, I'm going to take that clay buildup and just kind of run over this a little bit. Actually, we can use the fill brush as well. So with that fill brush, and I'm going to actually just kind of smooth this up and then also hit this with smooth. And so here I'm just lightly, so that fill brush, just kind of bringing that together. So with the detail brush, I'm actually going to hit this just a little bit. And actually going to hold down Alt. Let's bring that out a little bit. And also here I'm going to hit this as well with the detail brush, just to basically kind of pull this out. I'm hitting that with Alt. And again with Alt. And just kind of smoothing that. Alright, actually I'm going to probably go up one more subdivision on this just so I can get a little bit more detail for what I'm kind of looking for. So if you hold down Control, actually we'll just apply the, Control D. So with that, sitting at a level 3 on subdivisions, and probably Control D one more time just so I'm at the fourth subdivision. And from here, I'm going to take my clay build up and just kind of hit this a little bit, and then also smooth that down quite a bit. That's smooth. And so that's smooth. Actually, I just want this to be a little bit more smoother here. So just hitting that. There we go. Kind of what I was looking for. And just lightly here. And it's hitting that with it's kind of building up that brow area. And here I'm actually going to just kind of carve out a little bit. Let's carve that out a little bit and then hit that with smooth. And just carving that out just a touch, just to kind of bring in that ridge a little closer. So like you can see right here, that ridge is just a little bit closer, so when those eyeballs kind of sit in there. And so here, just kind of drawing that line in there. And I'm just kind of lightly smoothing over that. from here, I'm actually going to go with the clay buildup and hold down Alt. And also make those a little bit smaller. Just going to carve that in a little bit better. And then smooth. Let's hit that with smooth. So it looks good. Nice and smooth. And alright, and here, just hitting this a little bit more with smoothing that out. Just carving, smoothing, carving, smoothing. And still with the clay buildup. And just smoothing that over. So he's got his nostrils. So with the detail brush, you can actually just kind of hit this. It should take a little bit better, being a little bit higher on the polygons. So just hitting that with the detail brush, and then also here, just a little bit. And then here, I'm actually going to take the fill brush again, and I'm just going to kind of bring this out, this part right here, smooth. And I'm just kind of hitting this right here, just so it kind of builds up that cheek, the puffiness to his cheeks right there. Not sure I like the way that looks, so I'm just bringing that back. I'm just going to hit that with smooth. Alright. And from here, I just want to build the earlobe up a little bit more also. So with this clay buildup, I'm just kind of building right from here, smoothing this out, just clay buildup, just to kind of build that area up a little more. Yeah, I just want a little bit more detail coming into the head right there. And so from here, also grab that the detail brush, and here, kind of drag up here to kind of give that, so it's a little bit better connected there. And then just kind of lightly smooth over that. Alright. And then for this one as well, I also want to, so with the clay buildup, just kind of build this earlobe up a little bit more. And just adding a little bit of clay buildup right there. And just smoothing it out. Might be a little too much, but we'll just smooth that out. That's alright. And here, smooth that out. And from here, grab that detail brush again. And so from back here, we'll just start adding a little bit of cut to to the underside of his ear. So, yeah, just smooth it out a little bit. Doesn't need to be so harsh. And then just take you can almost take the fill brush and just kind of lightly go over that a little bit. And then just hit that with smooth a little bit. Alright, and then with that clay buildup, again, clay buildup, and I'm just going to bump this down to about 8, 10-ish. And here, just make those, I'm just kind of carving into this ear a little bit more, with holding down Alt, and just going back over here and smoothing. Just kind of pushing this inner ear area back a little bit, and just hitting the smooth. There we go. not sure I like that. Just undoing all that. And so from here, still just kind of carving back in here. And from here, I'm actually going to mask off this area here. So I'm actually going to just mask this area off. And take away from here. Just cleaning this up. Just holding down Control and Alt just to clean up this mask. And just making sure that this area is selected. Just going to come in here and just hold down Control and inverse that mask a little bit. And from here, if we rotate and bring that rotation so it's out, actually just selecting on the basically the normal. So once you hold down Alt and you just kind of drag, you can kind of see where the normal is for that. So if I click here, and I can see that that normal is kind of pointing that way with the Z. And so from here, this is where I'm going to kind of rotate, and I'm just going to rotate that back a little bit. Rotate, and then also push it back just a little bit. Nope. Actually, I want this to be masked as well. So just go back to Draw, and I'm just going to mask this area off. Whoops. So from here, I'm just masking this. And also, I want to mask the back of this. Okay, that's what I was looking for. And then, so from here, we can just make sure, just cleaning up this mask a little bit. Just making sure this is where I want to make that adjustment. So here, I want to mask this guy, the back of his ear. It's like I'm getting, so actually going to solo this so I can see what's going on. So from here, I want to, nope. And that should be, yep, that's exactly what I was looking for there. Alright, so from here, now we should be able to go and rotate from here. Kind of push that back a little bit. This kind of pushes his ears back in a little bit. That's a little too much. So just making some little slight adjustments. And go back to draw mode, and then I'm just hitting this with smooth. Just kind of smooth that out. And then it puts that nice little ridge there that I was looking for. So with that, I'm actually going to take the detail brush and kind of carve this in a little bit. So just carving from here. And also I'm going to hold down Alt and just drag along this ridge right here. And then hit that with smooth a little bit. And from here, going to hold down Alt And just right along this ridge, and then hit that with smooth. And just smooth this area. There we go. And then with that detail brush, just going to come around here. Just a little bit, a couple times here. And just hit that with smooth. And these are just like little details I'm adding here. Just kind of hitting this with smooth. Just making those ears look a little better. And from here, I'm going to take the move brush and just I'm going to make a kind of a big move here and just push this in. Just hit this with smooth a little bit. And just kind of looking at this, just kind of moving this ear back. Yeah, looking a little better there. Just smoothing that out. And here, just moving this so I can bring this cheeks back in. Alright, hit that with smooth. Alright, and then from here, I just want to grab that fill brush, and bring that intensity, or not the intensity, but the size. And then from here, actually just kind of lightly tapping that area and then just kind of filling that just so it's not completely, so it's still, I want that ridge there for those eyeballs. And here also just kind of get rid of that ridge looking that just kind of taking an overall look at this. And actually turn perspective off. Perspective, I might have hit P on accident. Let's get a weird perspective view to it. And from here, just going to make a few more adjustments with the move. And I just want to bring his chin up. I'm just going to brush that, smooth that out a little bit. Alright. So I'll turn off solo. Let's kind of take a look at that now. So with these eyeballs, I'm probably going to add some new eyeballs in here just so I can see how that looks. And so to do that, I'm going to actually add, let's see, actually I'm going to use a, so in the insert, and then I'm going to add a sphere 3D. And so sphere 3D, and then this one should have those poles on the tops, kind of how I want those eyes to. So with that, I'm actually going to rotate and hold down Shift just to get that down. So actually going to scale that guy down. Let's bring that up, hit F, just a frame, and so I'm just going to scale that eye down and move it back, and also going to kind of rotate and scale down again, and set this from the side. It's kind of where I want the eye to sit. So just push that in a little bit and then scale. Let's push that eye in. Scale down a little more. Let's push that back into his head a little bit. Just kind of open space. And just push that in a little more. So I'm just kind of trying to look and see, like this, the way that I drew this, his eyes are kind of more wide open. And so if I'm trying to think about when I do put an eyelid, because I'll probably put an eyelid back on his eye, and that way when anything changes, like in the animation and stuff, we just pull that eyelid up and open that up, so it's not. So we want these eyes to be spherical. We want them to stay spherical. So from here, actually going to go back to the body and just make some adjustments here. Actually, with that eye selected, I'm actually going to duplicate this eye. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate, and from here I'm just going to solo this guy and turn it to the side, and from here actually going to do a clip curve, and so hold down Control and Shift and drag from right to left, and then just hold the space bar. So I'm just basically cutting that. Cutting that, and from here unsolo, and then make that adjustment to where just push that eye out. Okay, so it just kind of gives us that eyelid pretty much built in the way it almost like automatically it's built in for us. So actually going to go to the move brush and just look at him from the front and just make some adjustments, and I'm just kind of pushing up and pushing back into that eyeball. Alright, so if I turn off the fill, you can kind of see like get that eyelid to look the way that we want it to. Alright, and so here I'm actually just going to push this up a little bit so it's more into his. There we go. Kind of what I'm looking for there. Let's bring that lid down, just so it kind of like rides along there. So with this, we can actually just go to back to this eyeball, and we can say mirror and weld. That'll put the other eye on the other side, and also to the eyelid, and do a mirror and weld, and we get that side as well. So with that, just kind of taking a look, seeing how that looks. It looks to me like his eyes are actually sitting kind of high in his head, so I want to actually bring those down. So I'll probably do that. I'll do that in a few. I'll do that coming up. So from here, actually I want to actually going to just pause this for a second and be right back. Actually I'm looking at this ear right here, and I want to make some changes here and kind of move this down a little bit. Just hitting this with smooth, and also yeah, those eyes are definitely way too high in his head, so we need to make that adjustment here. And so with those eyes and with the eyes, I'm actually going to just reset, and then reset is the reset orientation. So just holding down Alt and then hit the reset, and actually going to just bring that down in space, and then also his lids, just reset and bring those lids down a little bit. There we go. And actually push those back just a touch. There we go. That looks a little better. So go back to draw mode. All right. It's looking not too shabby, not too bad. What I'm after. So I'm actually going to select this body and just solo this guy, and then also grab this color that I want, and then for this guy I'm going to unsolo, turn the other one off, and just gonna fill, and also fill this guy. And then with the eyeballs, I just want to make sure that this blue, I kind of select a blue color and then just kind of stay close to white. Don't go all the way white, and just fill that. There we go. And his eyes are they look kind of droopy, but as we get in there and rig them, we can actually open his eyes more like that. Just kind of modeling them now, kind of at more of a nice easy angle there. So I'm just kind of looking to see what I want to do here. I just kind of want to bring this brow ridge, and so I'm just making sure that I'm on this body one, which is the copy, and from here grabbing the fill brush, and the fill brush I'm turning the intensity down quite a bit, just going through and just kind of lightly hitting this a little bit. And here as well, I probably will grab this move brush and just bring this guy out a little bit. This smooth. And the detail, actually grabbing detail, and from here with the Alt, oh, it's too much. And so with this intensity, I'm going to bring that down quite a bit. And just lightly going over this just to add a little bit more detail here to this ridge. There we go. Actually just smoothing that out a little bit. Smoothing here. There we go. It's looking not too bad. Actually, I'm going to probably move his mouth shape in a little bit as well. So from here, I'm just going to probably make a bigger move. So I'm just kind of, there we go. Looks a little better. Just his mouth looked like it was a little wide. Don't want it so wide. So just making small adjustments. And just hitting with smooth.